Okay. Versatile Vigilante, Young Vince, Uncle Vinny. We got the young CEO in the building.
Of course, come on.
Owner of Diamond Touch Toronto, Mr.
Yes, sir.
Harris.
Yes, sir. Glad to be here,
My
brother.
guy.
Appreciate the invite.
Blessings, bro. I really appreciate you coming out, man.
100%. Had to.
Fuck yeah. How you doing, bro?
Good, man. Can't complain. Same more. Another day in the GTA, right?
Another day in the GTA. So, man, we were talking before the interview started. I'm very interested to talk to you, bro. 'Cause I know you have your own jewelry business. 100%. I see you making a lot of moves in the city.
Yeah.
Really interested to learn about your story, and I figured maybe we could start from the early days, kind of where you grew up, and go from there.
Let's go. So, yeah, I don't have the typical, grew up in Toronto type thing. So, we'll start from day one, because that's where the story starts, right? I was born in Glasgow, Scotland.
Okay.
So I moved from there when I was 2 years old, quite young. I moved to Belgium. So, yeah, just south of London, basically. In Europe, the capital of Europe, you could say. So from Belgium, I lived there pretty much my whole childhood, from 2 years old till 16, 17. So yeah, I spent most of my days in Belgium.
Okay.
Which also happens to be the diamond capital. So that's kind of like projecting the future. So yeah, but Belgium's the diamond capital. I spent 15 years there, sort of, high school. And then midway through high school, so the summer of grade 10, so going into grade 11, I moved here. So I just turned 17 when I came here. I just turned 16 actually when I came here in August. So yeah, we went from Belgium to Canada. In Canada, we moved locally, not too far from here. Did my grade 11 and grade 12, which was obviously rough because I didn't know nobody.
Right.
Had to come, build my roots again. So yeah, that was that. I came on a work permit under my father, right? So technically I couldn't work either. So it was sort of just trying to figure out the best way to be able to get a job. I started, I got my license as soon as I could. I threw the lawnmower in the back of the Sienna, and just started cutting grass. That was the first thing I did, right? To make some sort of income. Right. So yeah, I was just cutting people's grass. And then from there, a couple of years down the line, probably like a year actually, after that, I got my first job, Dollarama. Mm-hmm. And then, I kept going up, obviously studying at the same time at high school. And then when high school ended, obviously, every Brown's parents' dream, your son goes to uni.
Yeah.
Or not just Brown parents, I'm sure. Everyone's parents just want you to go to uni, become a doctor, lawyer. Those are the old-fashioned.
Yeah, stay safe.
Stay safe, exactly. Just don't go left or right.
Exactly.
Just go straight to what you know works, right? So, I went to York for a semester.
Okay.
I wanted to go do business. My grades only allowed me to do an underside major, unfortunately, but it was still business orientated. So from there, I only did a semester, like I said. It wasn't for me. Too much studying, you could say.
Yep.
Yeah, it was just too much focusing and, bringing your laptop, doing all the notes and stuff. That wasn't for me. I was often just there, leaving early, coming in late. So yeah, it just wasn't for me. So I had to rethink my decision. So I dropped out of uni quite quick, and I just worked full time. I started working at a debt collection agency.
Okay.
So that was interesting as well. It was an interesting job. So we would call all around Canada. So Saskatchewan to Ontario to Quebec, and so the funny story was, so obviously I'm new at the job. I probably worked, this was pre-COVID, so I probably worked like 3 months.
Okay.
And then had someone call. I'm calling them, whatever. I'm calling from that collection agency. And they're like, because obviously I have an English accent. And a lot of, the fake calls, they're sort of people who try and say, my name is John. And they try and speak with the English accent, right? To make them more proper and polished. So he's like, let me guess the script. Your name is John and you're calling from air duct cleaning. And I'm like, no, you got it wrong. And the next thing he followed up with is, okay, your name is John. Well, my name is whatever his name is. And how about you tell me where you are so I can come with a rocket launcher and blow the building up? And I'm like, what? Am I hearing this right? And then he kept going. So I'm like, wow, this is madness. Or for just pay your $20, brother.
Yeah,
stay calm.
If you're collecting his debt, bro, you're gonna fucking pay for it in your own way.
Pay for it.
That's hilarious.
But yeah, that was pre-COVID, like I said. So literally a couple months after, COVID hit, and we're working in a building, and so all the other floors are closed. We're the last floor to be open for business,
Right.
and then we ended up closing, and obviously then sub payments came in, and I'm like, okay, I don't have to sort of work too much at the moment. So and I just hit the what is it, the minimum amount that you needed to qualify for sub.
Right.
I think it was like $5,000 the year prior. So I just had literally like $5,000 on the dot. So luckily I qualified for that. And yeah, so then with the sub money kept me going for a bit. Meanwhile, I'm trying to figure out what I can do. Obviously, it's locked down. You have time to think. So I hadn't been watching YouTube for a long time. But then I hop back on YouTube and I sort of see I don't know if you've had Tracks NYC.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I see Tracks NYC. I see Icebox and then A Jewelers, the big jeweler in the UK.
Yep.
And I see all the content they're making, jewelry, this, that, showing you the ins and out, the problems, the headaches. And I just fell in love with the scene. I'm like, wow, this is something I would adore because obviously once moving here, I made my connections. I, met a lot of people, different backgrounds, rappers, whatever,
Right.
people who are hustling. And I thought, okay, this is something I could definitely do. I have some clientele that I feel like I could sort of approach with this business. And yeah, so I decided to jump into a college course because I'm a first generation jeweler in the sense where I don't have any family in the industry. I don't have an uncle, a father.
Which is pretty rare, right?
It's very rare.
Right.
Like even all the local jewelers from Toronto, it's all like there's an OG.
Yeah,
So,
generational.
yeah, there's always the father, and then it's been passed down. So all the jewelers you see around, they're the face of the brand now, but before there was someone else.
Right.
Right. Whereas in my situation, I don't have no family in the industry, and yeah, I hadn't even been here long enough to know a lot of people.
Right.
So I had to not only build my network, as in friends and social life, and just meet new people. When I came here, my following on Instagram was 200 people.
Right. You're starting from
I
zero.
was starting from zero. So not only did I have to build my social life, my connections, and in this case, my followers, because obviously followers is important when it
Right.
comes to a business. So that's kind of why I was sort of square one when it came to the business.
Yeah, you had the ultimate like clean slate from zero.
100%. And obviously, like Donald Trump says, I didn't get $1 million loan either, right? Small
Real
loan
shit.
of $1 million.
Real
So
shit.
yeah, I had to sort of just go from there. And like I said, I jumped in the college course because I thought, okay, if the jewelry industry is cutthroat, like no one's here to
Right.
give you a hand. Because anyone who's coming into the industry is just competition, right?
Yep.
Unless you're a jeweler who's coming to the end of the business and they're trying to, retire and whatnot, they'll be more willing to help you. So unfortunately, I didn't find anyone like that. So yeah, I hopped into the college course. It was a 2-year course at George Brown, pretty prestige course. It's like one of the well-known ones in North America. And for example, Tiffany and Co, Rolex, they sort of find what do you call it? Future prospects, I guess.
Yep.
And every year they would pick one person. So brands that big would come to the course.
Very cool.
Yeah, find some people. My year, it was COVID, so it didn't happen.
Right.
And the first year, it was actually at home. It was an online course, which is quite weird because obviously it's a practical course. It's a trade, right? You're supposed to be, whatever.
Yeah, hands-on.
Hands-on. So at home, we did sort of the theory aspects of things. And then, we got shipped over to our houses, like little care packages. We had to make a little workbench at home.
Okay.
Learn the basics, wax carving and filing and whatnot.
Right.
But it was a nightmare, man, because you have no guidance and you're there with your laptop open trying to show the teacher your work
Right.
and she can't even see it properly and the work's not working. Like, it's like, yeah, it was a headache. So, yeah, then the second year was better, obviously, because then they kind of opened up the restrictions a bit so you could go in person and whatnot.
Absolutely. So, yeah. In person is way better for learning, I 100%. Feel like. Even for you touch on like building your social network, like meeting people, meeting classmates. 100%. That's important, bro.
Exactly, because like especially as George Brown itself, and I'm not sure about other trades, but in this specific trade, it seemed like most of the other students were there to learn how to work and become an employee. Right. So they wanted to be a bench jeweler working for someone else. Whereas I went there with the bigger mentality of, or a bigger vision in the sense where I knew what the end goal was, which is own a custom jewelry brand. I didn't want to be sitting, doing the labor as much as it's fun, and it is crafty and I like it. But, it's just not for me. I'm more of a business-minded person. and less of a, laborer, I would say. So yeah, I went in there open-minded in the sense where I was trying to talk to a lot of people, um, and sort of see who could possibly be a future employee. In the
Yeah.
sense where, is there anyone here who has potential, who I can sort of, stay in contact with down the line, present them the opportunity, whether they want to take it is up to them. So I kind of went there with big plans. And I remember, obviously, the teachers are very old school, some of them, when it comes to jewelry, because they've been generations of jewelers, right? So some of them were not too fond of me because obviously, I'm your typical student who, doesn't want to pay attention and whatnot.
A little rebellious.
Come in late and whatnot.
Yeah.
But yeah, it is what it is at the end of the day. I'll still do the work and all that. It's just that they had a different attitude. So like they'll sit me down, like you can't have your hood on, like you come in late to class, even if it's 30 minutes. But I'm driving all the way from whatever area to Toronto.
Yeah.
To Casa Loma.
And you're paying.
And I'm paying. At the end of the day, I'm coming. I'm doing all the work. You can't tell me. And he was like, oh, with this attitude, you never go anywhere. You can't be a jeweler. The typical talk. Like
Classic,
if your shop opens at 9 and you're there at 9:30 and 3 clients have already walked by, you're missing out. Brother, if it's my store, I'm opening it when I want.
Exactly.
I'll open it at 10 a.m. I'll have someone else go there for me, right?
Exactly.
So, yeah.
School's a little tricky for that because it's like it's a great opportunity to learn, but it's always that very like strict, like rules and like for a creative
matrixed.
guy, it's tough. It's matrix, man. Like it's like why would I do this? It makes no sense. 100%. It's real shit.
So yeah, like obviously I expressed that to them too. I said it to him. I said, listen, I'm not coming here. I appreciate the work and I'm doing the work, but my end goal is a little different to other people.
Yep.
And a lot of teachers understood that, and they were like, yeah, honestly, that makes sense. That I can appreciate that, and they were a little more lenient.
That's good, man.
They understood, right?
I respect the honesty too, where you didn't take it from like, oh, I'm just gonna be quiet. No, I'll express myself.
100%.
I rate that, bro. That's a really inspiring story, man.
No, I appreciate that.
Just through that little intro, I could already get a feel of what you've been through, what you've been trying to do, and you touched on some really interesting points, man. Like, you, first of all, already learned throughout the interview, Belgium is the jewelry capital of the world. I had no idea about that, bro.
It's a city called Antwerp. It's like the Dutch side. So Belgium is half French, half Dutch, a little German, but barely no one speaks German there. So I speak fluent French because I went to a French school and whatnot. So Antwerp is the Dutch side of things. It's the diamond capital. They're known for polishing. Obviously, back in the day, Belgium, I believe King Leopold, he conquered Congo, Democratic Republic of Congo. And there's obviously a lot of diamonds there, in resources in African countries, right? So obviously, it was a bloodshed and whatnot, and it resulted in them having a big supply of diamonds, right? So that's sort of where they kind of got that name from, capital of diamonds.
Very cool, bro. I did not know that at all.
Yeah, 100%.
When you were growing up there, I know you mentioned like the YouTube videos was really what got you going, but the diamond capital, did that influence you at all as a kid?
Honestly, not really. It kind of just went over my head. I never really, I knew about it, but yeah, I never really, I've obviously always been into rappers and whatnot. I could appreciate their pieces and their jewelry, but I would never read into it. I would never openly say to someone, oh, yeah, look at this guy's jewelry.
Right.
It was more something that came in later on in the years when I'm sort of thinking, okay, let me figure out what I need to do. That's when it sort of came into play. And I'm like, jewelry? Yeah, that's actually, I can see, I appreciate everything to do with it.
Right. Yeah. I love that, bro. Life's crazy, man.
Life's crazy.
Grow up in the diamond capital, eventually 100%. Working with diamonds. I love that, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy. And who would have known? Because like I always wanted to work with cars. I wanted to own a car dealership. So I always knew I wanted to do a business. That's something I was for certain I knew. But I never knew what. But I was leaning towards cars because obviously I appreciated the cars. And I lived in a country where the German cars are everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
Your Uber, your taxi's coming in the S-Class. You know? It's not no Japanese or American car. Like everyone has a nice car there. Whether it's older, newer, it's a German.
Yeah, it's a part of life.
Yeah, so I always appreciated cars, and then that's kind of what I wanted to do. But I was never into the mechanics, and my dad's telling me, obviously, if you're into this, you need to learn more into depth.
Right.
But that never sort of was something that appealed to me. So yeah, somehow jewelry just landed on my lap,
I love that, bro. Because even I liked what you said about where you weren't legally allowed to work, so you
Yeah.
put the lawnmower in the car and
Yeah,
got to
yeah.
work. Like that's to me that entrepreneurial spirit, which
100%.
it's one of those things. I feel like you could have picked any business
Yeah.
and had success with
Right,
it. You
right.
know what I
No,
mean?
100%. I would say I genuinely believe anyone, if they put their mind to it, they can do any business they wanted. It's just that your whole life you're told you can't.
Absolutely, every day.
Yeah, like when you're at school, you talk when you raise your hand, and you talk when I tell you to. Don't ask too many questions. Ask some questions, but don't go too much into depth. Like, why am I doing this homework, or why am we learning this? Then the
Exactly.
answers are, oh, you'll need it when you're older. Like the typical, why am I learning this math? Or when you're in shopping for sales clothing, you need to figure out what 10% off of $100 is. First of all, everyone is on their phones these days. Even if that's a simple calculation, everyone's on your phones. No one needs that calculation no more, right?
Yeah.
I would say education is definitely important, but my point being is there's certain things that just sort of train you into being an employee. They don't train you into thinking outside the box. They want you to think inside the box.
Absolutely right, bro.
Yeah.
And I really related to what you said when you said you always wanted to be a business owner
Mm-hmm.
because I felt that way too, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's just like I want to answer for myself, you know, right
100%.
or wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Let me do this,
100%.
you know, as opposed to doing something for someone else,
Exactly.
making their mistakes
Exactly.
or getting them paid.
Right.
You know,
Yeah,
it's like let's
because
learn
unless you do it, you're not gonna learn, right? And that's
experience,
something you
man.
learn as well as a business. Every time, it's not like it's never a fail. It's never a loss. It's always a lesson, right?
Absolutely right, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll see that situation again, and
One
you'll be
hundred
able to do
percent.
it better.
Exactly.
That's a to me like a huge cheat code, man.
100%. It's like the attitude, the mentality that you use. It's not a
Yes.
loss. I didn't fail. I'm just getting better. That's it.
Exactly, bro.
Yeah.
You're absolutely right, and you can't teach that. You got to go through it.
Mm-hmm.
You got to
Mm-hmm.
take your lumps and your bruises.
100%. I agree.
That's real, bro. So graduated that program. You made
Yeah.
it through. Was next step Diamond Touch? Like, how'd you kind of get into
So
it?
it ended 2022. So
Yep.
last year, April
Right.
was the end. So in April, I had my first client, which was my boy, and so obviously during school, I was also walking around, going to other jewelers, trying to talk to everyone, build my network. Some of them told me to kick rocks. Some of them told me a little bit of information, but most people don't have time. Like I said, these are generational
For
jewelers.
sure.
They have M's in the bank. They don't want you to, they don't need to educate you. They have it all set up. So yeah, I was talking to a bunch of jewelers and getting my information, figuring out the process, smoothing out the process to make it easier. And once the process was a set, yeah, I had my first client, which was my boy. Shout out Marcy,
Shout out
and
Marcy.
100%. And yeah, he got a boss piece. So it's like it says boss, and there was the Afghan currency on top. So that was my first custom piece, which is on my page. You can check out my Instagram, Diamond Touch Toronto.
Hell yeah.
And yeah, so that was kind of where it took off. And I remember bringing it to school to show to that same teacher who was like telling me I can't do this, can't do that. And I wanted to show it to him. He's like, yeah, I'm going to come look, I'm going to come look. And then he just completely ignored it. So I was like, whatever.
He was salty.
I'm not asking him again to come see it, right? I just showed the other teachers. They're like, oh, nice, really nice, you know? Because even those teachers, like, they're really nice people. I'm sure they did good jobs and stuff. But even a simple piece like that, they never seen it before.
Right.
It was more so, like I said, they're more into the crafts and all of that. Whereas this is more of a piece where money can be made.
Right.
So that's kind of where I started in April. I made my first piece. I didn't even finish school yet. So yeah, from then, actually while I was at school, I made an Instagram page because obviously I knew content. Content is key. So I named it Jewellery is Loading because I had no idea what the business is going to be called, etc.
Okay.
So I just made a page because obviously you can change the name after. And I was just posting videos of me doing whatever, you know, I'm soldering, so putting pieces together, whatever, complimations, my first pendant that I made. I did all sorts of content and some of them would take off. Like a couple of them got 100K views, 500K. One of them has like an M right now. Just off of basic videos. Like one of them is literally, so I'm heating up metal, annealing the metal, and then you have to cool it down, right? So you drop it into water,
Right.
and it sizzles. It goes
Okay.
tss.
That
And those,
ASMR
yeah,
content.
those
People
five
love
seconds
that.
videos would blow up. I'll be like, have you ever been satisfied in less than 7 seconds? And then I'll drop it in the water, and then the comments will go crazy. Like, of course I have this, that,
Yeah, man.
It was funny, but.
Very smart that you knew about that early too. Like
Mm-hmm.
the business is not even really going yet, but
Mm-hmm.
I know it got a market. That's
Yeah.
huge, bro. That's very, very smart.
100%. Because actually, previously to that, while I was at school, I tried to do e-commerce. I didn't necessarily go through it with it the whole way, but I did in the same jewelry aspect because I wanted to start learning about jewelry. I did gold plated jewelry.
Okay.
So I was doing stainless steel, 5 times gold plated, 18 karat gold plated, cubic zirconia, so replica diamonds. Launched a website, did all this photography, videography, and that's sort of what got me into the content because I started doing at the time TikTok was new
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was doing the sick videos, transitional videos, e-commerce was booming. So I'm like, let me try this out. I gave up on it too easily, but it wasn't necessarily that I gave up. I would say it was more so I moved on.
Yep.
So that's the wrong wording. I moved on from it too quickly. Because I was eager to start what I wanted to do, which was the actual fine custom jewelry. So I kind of moved on from that and jumped into the custom jewelry quickly after. But yeah, that's kind of bouncing off of that. That's kind of why I got into the content because I already started previously from the e-commerce to make a bunch of content.
That's an excellent example too of like transferable skills. Like you notice, okay, the what I'm doing might not be what I want to do, but there's something I can take from this. And that's a
Exactly.
huge thing, man. Every field will tell you that. Like there's an old job where there was a skill that they still apply or
Yeah.
like something, bro. You always want something
You
that
have
you
to
can
be
use.
learning. Yeah.
Always learning and you can apply it into what you're
100%.
doing.
100%. Always comes back handy, right?
Real shit, bro.
Yeah.
So you were hungry, man. You built the piece
Yeah.
right off
Yeah.
the bat, and you got people to fuck with you right off the bat. That's
100%.
huge. With the diamonds specifically, was that something you kind of knew I want to go in this direction?
So when it came to the jewelry itself, I always knew, yeah, diamond and gold. Nothing wrong with any fashion jewelry and plated jewelry.
Right.
But it was more so I wanted to build a network. And with a network, for example, if you're selling used cars, if you're selling Toyotas and Nissans, you're getting a different demographic of clientele. If you're selling Lambos and Ferraris, now you're getting the lawyers and the judges and whoever else, doctors, higher clientele,
Right.
and maybe you'd even get businessmen now, someone who's owns a private airport or owns this, and that's a whole list of clientele that opens doors for you. You need to get this done, okay, I have a guy. You need to get this done, I have a guy. I did good business with him, I'm sure he'll return the favor. So that's kind of why I chose the high end side of things because of the clientele and the network that comes with it, and that's something I enforce with all my clients. It's like I'm not here to just make this one transaction happen. I'm here to make sure when this transaction ends, you yourself want to come back to me without me telling you, hey, come check us again. I want you to be so comfortable and confident with our skills and our business that you're going to come back to us just due to your own realization that, yes, these guys are really saying and doing what they said they will do.
That's real business shit, bro. I
Mm-hmm.
love to hear that, man. That's long term vision.
100%.
'Cause I'm sure you've had situations where you're like, I could just probably put out a
Yeah.
mediocre product and
Yeah.
get one, get people to buy it. They'll buy it once, and then that's your name.
Yeah. I'm
Very
sure you've
smart.
seen a lot of rappers and whatnot. Oh, this rapper busted with a fake watch, and
Absolutely.
this rapper
Put the
fake,
tester on the
yeah,
diamonds.
fake chain, and it's breaking news, and everyone's talking about, oh, this rapper's broke. Da, da, da. Most of the time, I mean, a lot of people do buy fake jewelry in general, but a lot of the times they don't know what they're buying. So it's the jeweler they went to who just finessed them. Simple as that. The jeweler just told them, yeah, no, don't worry, I got you. The rapper didn't ask enough questions. Boom. Next thing you know, months later, he's on Real Toronto News and 6 bucks for a fake watch. So that's kind of something I'm avoiding at all costs. Is because you treat one client like that, the rest of your business kaput.
Real shit. Now that's your reputation.
100%.
That's your all that trust you've built is now broken.
100%.
That's real, bro. And we mentioned already kind of like the relationship with jewelry and rappers, and like, yo, jewelers are now really a part of hip hop, bro.
100% they are, yeah.
Huge part. You
Like,
mentioned Tracks, Johnny Dang, like
yeah,
these are brand names,
brand
man.
names, yeah, yeah. So you'll see, like, even like, what was it, Lil Durk, Lil Baby, they were shooting a music video with Icebox,
Yeah,
and yeah, it just goes hand in hand, the jewelry industry and hip hop. It's like everyone that's sort of an artist in whichever way, even athletes, like they love jewelry.
huge, bro.
Mm-hmm.
It's massive.
Yeah, like there's a sick piece that A Jewelers did for a football player in the UK, or soccer player, as I should say. But as my Italian brother, you should be calling it football too.
Call it football, bro.
100%. So, yeah, Declan Rice, an English player, he got, the Big Ben in the
Yeah,
UK?
yeah,
He got a huge tower like this big, and you know how it has clocks, right?
yeah.
So on the first facet, on the sides facets, he put Rolex dials.
That's
And
crazy.
it's huge, iced out like this, probably like a 500K piece. And that's for a sick athlete, right? So it's not only the rappers who are sort of getting into the scene. Because I feel like that is like a stereotype, right? Like hip hop and rap. And they do go hand in hand. But I would say it's more than that. Because it's also the athletes. And another thing is there's a lot of people who buy jewelry, but they're not influencers. You could say that a rapper, an athlete, whatsoever, they're influencers, right? At the end of the day, they have big influence.
Yeah,
But there's a lot of clientele who are not influencers. They just have money.
right.
Whether it's generational, whether they have their own hustle that doesn't require to be on social media, manufacturing or industrial or whatever it
Yeah,
may be.
they just want to be icy.
100%. They just want to have jewelry up, and they whether it's engagement rings or just big ice, people want it.
100%, bro. It's a huge market, and you know what? It's one of those things where it's like, if the people want it, let's provide it, man. Let's get
100%.
them what they need.
100%.
I remember, like, I don't know where it really started. I feel like it maybe started with like that Gucci Man era a little bit. Remember with the Bart Simpson chain
Yeah,
and
he was
shit like
crazy
that?
with it, yeah.
It went crazy, and I feel like it's been competition ever since.
Who
Like,
has
people,
the most funkiest, craziest pendant?
exactly,
jewelry.
bro. How do you feel about the trends that come with jewelry though? Because I'm sure you have a favorite style yourself.
Yeah.
Do you ever get some, like, see some styles where like, I'm not crazy, I'll do it. I'm
Yeah.
not crazy about it though.
I would say the whole reason I went into custom jewelry specifically is to stay away from those type of pieces, the generic pieces, the pieces you see on everyone's showcase. So hey, let's put it like this. When I went into the industry, I found the problems when it came to the industry, and I wanted to solve them, like any business, problem, solution. One of the main problems that I'm going to touch on now, I'll touch on some more after,
Please do.
is the generic jewelry. Everyone you see has the same sort of jewelry, not necessarily custom, but just in general. That's why I stayed away from stock jewelry, because I don't want to sell you something you can go find down the street, and then you're gonna come back to me and say, well, this guy said he could do it for $800, but you said it's 1,500. Because in jewelry it's like I can tell you, oh yeah, this is this. Let's say I can tell you, oh, this is worth $1,000, but the other guy will say, no, this is worth 500. It's just he said, she said, right? So I stayed away from that, and I did custom for the very reason that I can make you something so unique, so different. It's a one of one. No one else in this world has it but you. And I feel like that exclusivity, the rarity, just the value, just increases the value of what you have now, because no one else has it but you. So those are the pieces I love to make. The ones that are like, it's a pendant, it's nice, a couple letters, and it's iced out completely, sick. I love them, especially at the beginning. I'm like, yes, orders, that's what I need. The more I go into it and the more I'm, getting more orders and whatnot, I want to do some more new stuff, some more unique and intricate pieces. It's better for my business because I showcase my skills, and it's better for you because now you have a piece that no one else has. So why not,
100% feel you on that, bro. I feel like too, you're an artist. Like, you want to express yourself through your jewelry too. 100%. And yeah, if you're just doing the same shit, it gets boring. And this, keep things fresh.
Exactly.
Build that name at the same time.
Exactly.
I love that, bro. I really like that. And you touched on some interesting things there with problems in the jewelry industry, from the business side of it. getting these payments, is that ever an issue? You even touched on debt collecting earlier, bro. I'm sure those skills still come in handy for you now.
Honestly, as a business, I started completely online. No location.
Okay.
Like I said, a couple hundred followers on Instagram. It was a struggle. I had to graft for my business. I had to graft for the orders. So constant checkups, trying to get orders. Like I said, content to make sure they kind of see I'm real. And at first, I didn't put my face on it because I wasn't the type of guy to do content.
Sure.
Like even on my personal page, my profile picture was blank. I had no pictures uploaded. So that's a big jump. But yeah, when it comes to my payments, I make sure I get upfront. Maybe not the full thing, but upfront. But the full payment will be paid out throughout the manufacturing process, because it takes around 4 weeks, give or take, to manufacture a custom piece. So I would expect around, the price depends. I work with people. I'm an understanding jeweler. If you have this bill to pay and you can only come up with this for now, no problem. At the end of the day, I'm still need the full payment before pickup, because obviously I'm not in the position to put down, let's say, 10 grand of my own money into this custom piece. Now my client's not coming to pick it up, right? So I make sure I take the least amount of risks possible. And even, payment wise, at first I was going to parking lots, outside of STC, picking up a payment, 7 grand payment, just in the parking lot like that, pulling up on like a person I've never met before.
Yeah.
Or like just going Thames or whatever, and in a Dollarama one time. So yeah, it's just like it was a struggle, and obviously it's not a good look for me either, right? Because they're thinking, right, this guy's just
outside, like
just
this.
outside.
Yeah. Right?
So obviously the one thing that was working for me was that I have amazing quality. Even from back then, my quality was amazing, and my prices were even better, because obviously I'm competing. I'm competing with the local market and the local jewelers, and everyone knows them, and they already have their names and brands built, which is not something I had. I didn't even have more than a couple hundred people knowing about the business. So that was my main issue, trying to spread the brand name out and out and out. So at first I was just pumping out jewelry for very low prices, very thin profit margins, barely making money, living like month to month, just using my credit card, and then every penny I had, clearing it out at the end of the month, making sure it doesn't, affect my credit and whatnot. So that was sort of the first, I would say even year. Like only in December, past December is when I've been getting consistent orders since. So what is that? When the seventh of the 12th.
Yeah.
Like as in 7th month, right?
And that's very good, bro.
So yeah, so for 7 months I've been consistent with my orders. So, obviously, all praise. I'm very happy with how things are going at the moment.
Good. Congratulations on that, bro, because quality and work ethic, 2 things you can't fake, and that's huge. And I love that you shared that, because if anyone's watching, like, I hear this a lot where people say, I want to be a boss, I want to work for myself. You fucking are signing up for a grind, bro. Like, you got to sign up for, like, no, it's a guarantee that you got to hustle, 100%. Struggle. Like, it's not optional, bro.
100%.
The biggest businesses in the world started from nothing, man.
Exactly.
And it's yo, you want this life, you got to fucking take what comes with it.
Yeah.
Fight for it.
And, yeah, like, I say this to one of my boys, he's a fighter, right? MMA.
Okay.
I say, listen, the fight isn't in the fight. They call you a fighter because when you're down, you have to fight to get back up. It's the mental fight. Anyone can train for 6 months in Thailand, come back and beat people up. But when you're back down, you're going to get back up. That's what makes it a fight, right?
Absolutely right, bro. And that's a great example, because you pick your jeweler, fighter, radio, whatever. You have your craft. You also have your personal life, bro. Like, I'm sure you had rough days, your family, your friends, girls, whatever. Like, that doesn't stop either, bro. Like, your whole life is a thing. You got to keep your business fucking afloat and growing. Like, that takes balls, bro. So I really respect what you've been building.
I appreciate it. Yeah, well, speaking on that, I mean, like, even before, when I was building my brand, like, 2 of my close friends passed away, right, as I'm building the brand. So obviously that was tough for me too, because like I said, I'm going to school, and headphones in. I'm not too social, obviously, because I'm mourning and whatnot.
Right.
So that was a tough period too, because obviously at the end of the day, I knew I had to keep going, and I'm signed up for school. It's costing money. I can't just abandon this. I already spent most of my sub on my last semester at uni that I dropped out of. Can't be taking this L again, right? So yeah, that was a tough time because I had to do the business, and then I didn't tell like my family that it happened, obviously, because then they're gonna be worried about me, like what is he involved with, this, that. So like it was a tough time because all of that, yeah. So hopefully, they're watching above and proud, right?
They are, bro. And you know what? They'll be proud that you didn't stop.
100%.
Like, fuck, man. Life's crazy. Crazy shit can happen.
Yeah.
You got to keep going.
Yeah.
Like, that's so, for a lot of people, that's too much to hear sometimes. But it's true, bro.
But I feel like it was good to say because obviously in the city, a lot of stuff happens, right? And you see the news every day. This happened, that happened, this person passed, that person passed. So I feel like it's important to say so that the people watching, right, they learn that there's always more. And like even me, my main motivation to keep going and stop my bad habits and whatnot, stop like going around these people, that people.
Yeah.
It was because I wanted to make people proud. Like I lost my grandparents and two of my friends, three of my friends. So when I came here, it was also I lost a friend. So in 5 years of being here, I lost 5 people, right? So yeah, it was a long 5 years. But like I said, that was my main motivation to sort of fix up, stop being a dumb kid. You know the expression "boys will be boys."
Yeah, man.
I'm like, this boy needs to turn to a man.
It's true.
So it was kind of a jump I had to take.
You're absolutely right, bro. And the only way to become a man is by action, man. You got to actually do it.
100%. I agree with that.
And that's why I really was excited to have you in here, too, because you're doing it. Like, the world is covered with people that want to do it, bro. Wanting is not enough.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? You got to actually do it.
100%.
And you know what, bro? You touched on an interesting topic there of, like, Toronto can be a wild city.
Yeah.
Compared to, like, Belgium, Toronto, more wild place.
So the capital of Belgium is Brussels, right?
Yeah.
It was definitely wild. Okay. I lived like 10, 15 minutes outside of Brussels. But yeah, it was a wild place. I mean, I'll tell you a crazy story. So I'm at school, and next thing you know, the teachers are coming in like, listen, everyone stay calm. But there was a terrorist attack, and you just call your family and make sure everyone's okay. Fuck. And we're like, what? But they were like, yeah, school's on lockdown because terrorist attack happened at the airport. It was a big thing. There was one in France. So it happened in France. There was like a football game got bombed, and then a bunch of different ones in one day, in a couple hours time, like a cafe, concert, this, that. Same thing happened in Belgium, in Brussels. There was the main train station. There was the airport, cafe, concert, that, and a metro. So like a subway.
Right.
So there's a sad story which I remember hearing was, the airport, like a main airport that everyone takes from Brussels. And Brussels is a hotspot in the sense that the UN meetings happens in Brussels.
Okay. So
like at the time Donald Trump will come there, have their meetings. So the main airport got bombed. And there was a story of a son. He calls his mom, I made it. I survived. There was a bombing, but I'm okay. I'm coming home. So then he hops on the subway, and then the subway blew up.
Fuck.
And he passed away. So it was just a different sort of, like, Brussels was on a no-fly list for a couple of years too when we were here.
Okay.
And not even like since then till like when we came here. And when you'd go around to like the train station, there's military convoys posted with like big guns, So it was a different type of life. Not just because that type of stuff. I mean, it was wild. And in general, like I would say, it's hard to say, but yeah, they have their different sort of battles over there. Like there's more so cultural clashes. In the sense where in Brussels, there's a different type of immigration than here. So over there, it's more like Middle Easterns versus Africans. That was a big thing. There was like even a big movie about it. If the two people are not getting along.
Right.
So that was the main thing over there. It's like those two cultural groups just didn't mix. So that's kind of like where it would be.
And that's a big thing in all of Europe now too. I hear a lot about that in France.
Italy. In France, big. Especially France. They're not too keen on
they're very
cultures.
Strong of their culture. French people are very very like
they are. Yeah. It's crazy, but I would say Toronto. I heard that because I moved in 2017, like I said. I heard that since 2017, it's been getting worse and worse. So I can't speak from before that, but when I was in Brussels, yeah, there was just odd stuff like that terrorist attack that was very odd. It's not like it happens all the time, and it
Right.
hadn't happened since then. But point being is, those terrorists actually lived in Brussels. Even the ones that did the France attack, they lived in Brussels
It's
too.
crazy.
So it was a different sort of like it was more like underground stuff over there, and more wild in the sense like uh reckless people, people
Right.
who just going crazy. Like if your football team's winning, you go out and you just
Hooligans.
you literally burn police cars. Like you do the most. Like just go crazy, not just a celebrity.
Yeah, you've taken it into that
Taking it to
next
that next
level.
level. Yeah.
I feel like I say it when people say like Toronto is a wild city for sure. Crazy shit happen. We all know. But I tell people this all the time, bro. When you have a major city in the world, and Brussels included, a lot of people, bro, it's
Yeah.
just too many people.
Yeah.
Go to any big city in the world or in any country, like
It's gonna be hectic.
there's gonna be shit happening,
Yeah.
man. You
Yeah.
gotta be very careful.
No, you're right.
You
You're right.
know,
You're
it's
definitely right.
because I just don't believe in that. Like, oh, if you come here, you're safe. If you go there,
Yeah.
you're safe, bro.
Anything pops off anywhere.
Exactly,
Yeah.
man.
I agree with that.
Exactly.
I agree with that.
So, yo, the jewelry business I said is always been super interesting to me, and I'm pissed because I didn't wear my jewelry. I like jewelry myself,
should
bro.
have, bro.
I know what
Perfect
the fuck was
time.
I
Come on,
thinking,
bro.
bro. Next time,
Next time.
there will be a part
There
two.
will be.
You kind of already touched on it a little bit, but what are the dangers that come from jewelry, bro? Because I've heard of Toronto jewelers getting beat up, robbed.
Yeah. It's hectic. I mean, a lot of jewelers don't get just hit once. They get twice, three times, because obviously it's not cash. It's not like you can't just rob a bank, right?
Right.
Realistically, these days with the security, you can't just rob
No.
a bank. You'll get tracked. You'll get arrested instantly. With jewelry, there's obviously security measures, but what's stopping you from, just because usually you have to get buzzed in. What's stopping you from pretending, especially during COVID, just wear a COVID mask, walk in, pull the gun out,
Exactly. It
rob
kind of
everything?
depends on the security you
Of
have in
course.
place.
For example, there's a well-known jeweler around here, Kalani. Like I'm
Yep.
sure you've heard of him. I'm pretty sure there's always police outside, so no one's gonna try anything there, right? Because I'm not 100% sure. I'm pretty sure he's at Yorkville, so it's obviously like a high-end area.
Right.
So I'm pretty sure there's always police outside. So I'm sure he takes proper security measures. So you're not gonna hear, oh, Kalani got hit up, this that. It's the people who do these things usually do go for low security. They've probably been a client, so they've been there before, or it's an inside job. Like I heard this crazy statistic about insurance in general. So car insurance, jewelry insurance in general.
Right.
I forget the exact number, so don't quote me, but it was around like 60 to 80% of calls for insurance is fraud. Meaning, when it comes to jewelry, the own jewelers be robbing their own stores, because let's say the value that you actually paid for the materials of the rings, diamonds, whatever, 100K, but you get it appraised, and now that appraisal is for 300K. You just fake a robbery, and now boom, 300K up. So a
Hear
lot of
about
the
that.
times it's just an inside job. Like you see a funny video, I forget where it was, somewhere in North York or maybe Scarborough, and you see the gentleman, the jeweler, he opens his door, which you have to, like, it's locked obviously. It's like closing time. He opens the door, puts his foot to keep it jammed open, and he's looking around left, right, and then you just see 3, 4 hoodied up, masked up. He takes the gun out, and then he's just like, oh, he's just like, and it's the most bait video you could find, and it's so hilarious because he just like he just looks left and right and runs away.
Yeah.
You know?
He knew.
He knew.
That's fucking hilarious, bro. And that's the oldest trick in the book, too.
Oldest trick in the
I
book.
remember, well, this still happens, too, like burning your place down.
Yeah.
All this shit, bro. That's
Fraud is like
oldest trick in the book.
Yeah, 100%. But yeah, I would say, even for me, that was my main concern, right? Like, let's say, dropping off a piece to a client. That's why I had to make sure the piece was paid for in full beforehand.
Right.
If you've paid 3K for a 10 to 15K piece, and I'm dropping you off that 10 to 15K piece, and you don't have the money, so you choose to just whatever, take it from me. That's a big L.
Yep.
And a safety concern, right? So that's why, I was working towards a spot. And this year I signed a contract for a booth at a market, which is my first location. But it's definitely better than meeting up in the streets and sort of this block, that block. or this Tim's, that Dollarama. You know.
Absolutely, bro. You're growing, man. You're
Yeah,
leveling
slowly but
up.
surely. Yeah, yeah.
Congratulations on the spot.
Thank you,
That's
thank you.
amazing. That's Steele's area.
Yeah, Steels and Don Mills. The shop's on 404 and Steels, so it's a sick location, not too far from the city. Um, if you go on the map, it's literally in the center.
Beautiful.
So sick location. I like it a lot.
Congratulations on that, bro.
Thank you, thank
That's
you.
that's real leveling
I
up, man.
appreciate it.
I
Yeah, yeah,
love those types of stories, man. Where
yeah,
you started. You said earlier you're starting from fucking zero.
yeah, yeah.
Look at what you're doing. It doesn't look
100%.
like it's been a year, bro. You look like
Yeah,
you've had
yeah.
far more time in the
100%.
game.
I appreciate it.
I love it, bro. You mentioned you mentioned tracks and like I even saw on your IG. I really like the videos where you were in the mall asking the
Yeah,
girls, the couples, like
yeah,
about engagement rings and
yeah.
shit like that. Being someone in front of the cameras, that's something you want. I know you said you're naturally like trying to stay
Yeah,
away.
yeah.
Do you feel like it's necessary?
Yeah, like you said, at first it was a no go for me.
Right.
It was a no go, but I had to build my brand and I had to get people to trust me. Like, who's gonna trust a page with no location, no followers, no face to spend grand?
You kind of have
Thousands
to
and
be the
thousands.
star.
You have to be, and I didn't want to be. I still don't want to be. But it has to be done, like you said. It has
Yeah.
to be. Someone has to be the face of a brand. You have to build a relationship with your people, your viewers. They have to have someone that they can visualize and appreciate. Otherwise, what are they? They're gonna like your jewelry? Yeah, sure. Are they gonna like your T-shirt? Okay, maybe. But you have to be the thing that you sell yourself first before anything else. If you go to a jeweler and the floor is messed up in the sense where the tiles are broken, it's stained on the floor, half the jewelry stones are falling out, the sign is bad, and your reviews are below three
Yeah.
stars.
You fucked yourself already.
Bro, no one's going to you, right? And if they do, it's people who are like, don't know the scene.
Absolutely right, bro. And I feel like this is probably true for jewelers too. Like a lot of times I've heard like producers say, "Yo, oftentimes like yeah, my production's good, but the artists are just comfortable with me. Like they
Yeah.
fuck with me." I feel like jewelers is kind of similar, where it's like, of course your product's gotta be good, but yo, Horace is my guy. Like
Yeah.
that's my dog. Like we're
100%.
working. Even
Showing
like
love.
you see Johnny Deng, bro.
Mhm.
These guys have been with him for
Yeah,
years. Like
yeah.
I feel like that's part of it, where it's that relationship based.
100%.
You
100%.
know?
Because especially in the jewelry, like I said, I was finding problems and solutions, right?
Yeah.
So another problem that matches what we're talking about is the trust. Because the jewelry industry is you have to be knowledgeable. You can't go into shopping for jewelry without knowing. It's like going to a mechanic or like having a plumber over. You know those typical stories. The plumber
Yeah.
came, the light was flashing. He charged me 5,000, but he fixed it. Little do you know, he just took the part out, flipped the switch, closed it. You never know, or you need oil change, but you never knew, and the mechanic charges you 5,000 for
Yeah,
the oil
man.
change.
Easy lick.
Easy lick, simple as that. So a lot of jewelers, Presser says it himself. I heard jewelers, what was it? I heard jewelers mixing diamonds want to know if I got stretched, something like that.
For sure.
So jewelers are just evil with it. Like they'll give you a ring, half of it's not even diamond. The other half isn't the quality or clarity, to be specific, that you wanted. Then on top of that, it's lab diamond. It's not even natural, but you paid for the natural price, and there's a 50% price difference on that. So now you spent 5,000 when you should have paid $1,000,
Yep.
and that's something I wanted to solve, and make sure that doesn't happen to any of my people, because that's horrendous. Like I said, I was walking around to different jewelers, and my friend recommended me this jeweler he went to. At the time, didn't have too much knowledge. I walk in, whatever. I'm like, yeah, here's $2,000. I want to start a custom piece because I wanted to build a relationship, right? First mistake, I gave the jeweler $2,000 before even seeing a 3D rendering, before seeing a design of what he's gonna produce to me. I should have given him like $500,
Yeah.
$1,000,
Due
$1,000 at
diligence.
max, just to figure out what's the design looking like. So that was my mistake, and so a month goes by, no news from him. So I drive all the way back to him, and I'm like, what's going on? I placed the deposit, this, that. And he's just waffling. And I'm like, okay, listen, this isn't working. It's been a whole month. Like, if I have a client come to me for a design, I can't wait a month for you to get back to me so I can get back to them.
Facts.
That's not going to go. Like, it's not going to happen. So, yeah, I kind of just said, listen, I need the money back, right? He's like, oh, look at the sign. It says no refund. I'm like, so what do you have for what, $2,000? And he points me to some couple of like shitty rings. I'm like, bro, take this one. There's this one right here. Yeah, I can't really take it off.
Show that off, bro.
Yeah, let me take it off.
Yeah. I like that though. I'm getting something for this.
Yeah, I had to, because obviously I'm not just.
This is not a diamond touch piece, bro.
This is not a diamond touch piece.
I could tell,
you
bro.
You see a stone missing in it.
It's too light.
It's too light. There's a stone missing in it. I diamond tested it. Some of them aren't even testing as diamond. So that's my point. Like, some jewelers are just horrible with it. And this was just a stock piece, just on the shelf, you know?
Yeah.
What else is he selling in there, bro? That's mad.
You just went to school for $2,000 right there.
Yeah,
that
bro.
was school for you, bro.
100%.
And you know what? I've seen this a lot of times where people think that if I'm paying this amount of money, I'm guaranteed quality. It's not true, bro.
Not that simple.
It's not that simple. You got to know what you're paying for, what you're buying. That's real shit.
100%. I agree.
Yo, show off your those are diamond touch pieces.
Yeah.
Show those off, bro. That's going to be the screenshot or the
100%.
thumbnail for the interview, man.
Take this one off.
Yo, should I get a versatile Vigilante piece made?
We have to, bro.
I'm gonna put a survey up, man. We might have to, bro. A little anniversary or type
100%
shit.
100% here. Show that off.
Shout out Diamond Touch, bro. 100%. This is fire.
This is like a little humble piece. So I got this when I said
clean.
Yeah. So
DIT.
DTT.
Diamond Touch Toronto.
Yeah.
Fire,
with the CN Tower. You see the CN Tower?
Oh shit!
Hold
this is
hold
clean,
the chain,
bro.
Yeah. It's
love
two-tone,
that.
so there's white gold, rose gold, and then three-tone.
Very Toronto chain, bro. I love this.
So this pendant I got because, like I said, no one trusted me. Bro,
Okay.
you're a jeweler. You don't even have no jewelry. Like, what are you talking about?
True.
You're a jeweler. You don't even have a location. So I'm like, all right, bun this. I have to get a pendant. So I made myself a pendant. That was my first piece. That was technically my first piece. Because if I don't have a location, at least when I'm because I'm handing out business cards to people who are wearing jewelry and shit, I have to at least have something to be like, yeah, look, I made this.
You need a resume.
I need a resume. So
absolutely.
That was sort of, if I had like a location, someone to tell them come see, I wouldn't even need to make jewelry for myself.
Yeah.
But in that case, I had to. So this was the story behind this. It's my first piece. It will be a historical piece for DTT, and I'll always remember the hardship that went behind this piece, right? And I'm excited to upgrade because when that time comes, that means I'm at a new milestone, and I'll keep building pieces, and eventually I'll look at the first one and be like, wow, what a journey.
Love that, bro. I really love that. Also, there will be a time for that piece.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I don't need to do this now. There's a time when this will be right.
100%.
I rate that.
Even this one, like I wouldn't have gotten it, but I had to because what's the point of spending X amount on a pendant when my business isn't even set up yet? I could have spent X amount on ad spend, marketing, a website, whatever it may be. Right now, that's what I'm focusing on. We talked about the hardship and having to fight as an entrepreneur. I'm still fighting because at the end of the day, all the money I make, I'm still putting it back into my business because it's a long-term plan. I could easily enjoy the fruits of my labor now, but then I'm back to square one. And each month, I'm waiting for new orders to sort of be comfortable again. But if I'm saving the money, not even saving it, if I'm putting it back, because realistically, it's not getting saved, it's getting reused to maximize sales, leads, etc., and maximize relationships. So that's kind of the struggle now. It's sort of, okay, I'm comfortable, I can get by without having to worry, but now I need to get to that point where I can set this aside and keep growing that. So that's kind of where I'm at now. I'm starting to be able to set stuff aside as I'm growing the business. Advertisement, which is the biggest expense for me at the moment. Advertise, because obviously my rent is low. That's why I chose the booth instead of an office.
Right.
Because office rent, minimum like $1,500, I would say.
Yeah.
For something where you have a little bit of a table, somewhere you can have something set up. So my rent is like half of that. It's just for a booth. I have way more space. I set up a couch, everything, consultations type room. So couch, come sit down, we'll talk, we'll go through the pieces.
Got what you need, man.
Yeah, so that allows me that's kind of what my advantage is, right? I have low expenses, and I only focus on custom. My whole attention goes on custom, not, am I selling the 100 grand worth stock? Am I not? If I'm not, okay, let me throw it into this custom piece to make some money back.
Right.
Simple as that.
Very smart, bro. I talk a lot about building a foundation, and I really see that in you, where it's like, and when you're leveling up, the foundation's built. You know, I've seen it with a lot of businesses where it's like maybe they got hot from a post or some shit like that, but their shit wasn't ready for that. You know, it's like you can't
100%.
fake that.
100%.
So I see what you're doing. I understand when you tell me your strategy, it makes sense. You know, like when you're putting your money back into it. I love that. That's real shit, man. That's 100%. Real business entrepreneur. Real and, shit.
I even I reached out to like a bunch of rappers, influencers. Like you said, you want that one hot post. So I'm like, let me see what post I can get done. Let me see what piece with which celebrity, local celebrity I can get done. So I messaged a bunch of people. Obviously, like I messaged young Tory, Burna, Bandz, everyone. But those are the two people that replied. We're talking humble people, down to earth, right? Young Tory, you know, I sort of told them, I told him honestly, listen, we'll give you a free piece, free ring. And this is the story on why I don't do promotional pieces now. So I told him, listen, we'll give you a free ring. You know, it'll be beneficial for us, for you as well. A Rasta ring is what he wanted to do. We got design done, everything. I'm like, listen, the ring you're looking to get is out of our budget. We're a new brand. We only have certain amount of money to spend. If you want to get this done, no problem. We'll cover half of the cost. You cover the other half. And it just went AWOL. He's like, oh, I think you're using me, this, that. I said, brother, I gave you two options. We'll make you the first ring for free, no cost. Or we'll give you the second ring. But you have to pitch on that ring to make it possible. But even then, you're getting a bargain and a half. No jeweler's going to give you even 3 times that quote. Because the quote I gave you literally half my cost. No one's giving you that. And he was just, you know, whatever. It's obviously no hard feelings for me, at least. But yeah, I remember he posted on my story, his story. He's like, "Don't holla, damn, touch
no way,
big cap," you know. And then I reposted it. And I'm like, yes, I'm doing something right, you know.
Good for
you.
And
then he took it down and whatnot. But yeah, it's all love at the end of the day. I don't mind. Hopefully soon, one day we can sort of work and figure it out, right?
It's all love, but you know what? I'm glad that you said you don't really fuck with promo products too much. Because we even saw that with like the track 6ix9ine shit. Like when I feel like if you tie yourself too much to somebody, they have now power on you. And it's like, I don't like that, bro.
Yeah, and what's the guarantee that obviously when it comes to something like that, it's you scratch my back, I scratch yours. You're getting the piece, I get some promo. What's the guarantee that the other party is going to actually promote you?
Exactly.
No guarantee. Be a fan of your work, want to build a relationship. For example, with Burna Bandz, which I understood his way of viewing things. He's like, listen, I can go to Kalani and drop bags with him, certified jeweler, and he did that in the end. If you go to his page, you'll see the pieces. Why would I want to work with you? So I was like, yeah, that's fair. And I told him, give me some time, maybe we can figure something out. He said, no problem. But then, yeah, obviously, I kind of realized after that promotional pieces aren't the way to go. Because, like I said, what's the guarantee? What's the guarantee? Like, I can make you the piece. And this is when I really learned. So I had another like, you know, the Calvin
Cambridge.
Yeah, Calvin Cambridge. Yeah. I had the name on the tip of my tongue, so he reached out to me. I know I'm name dropping, but whatever. It's not like it's
we're
drama
here, bro.
Or anything,
we're here.
Right? It's no drama.
We're just saying what happened. That's all.
Yeah. If there's any issue with that, then obviously we can talk. But I won't mention who then. So he reached out to me for one of his friends who wanted to, like a TFC player, Toronto FC player. Okay. He wanted to gift Drake an iced out watch and a pendant and whatnot. I'm like, yeah, you know, just tell me about it. And he said, yeah, we want to gift it to him for his birthday. I'm like, yeah, it sounds like a sick opportunity. This sounds like, you know, maybe I'll give this a try because it's Drake, right? And then I say, yeah. He mentioned that he's done it before previously with another jeweler and his shit popped off. And I'm like, okay, amazing. So why don't you go back to the same jeweler if you've done it with him once?
Smart question. Very smart question.
And he said, yeah, he took too long and I want to get it done quicker this time. But realistically, if I just felt maybe it was just because he wasn't getting it for free again, right? Because if you can, there's always new jewelers coming around.
Yeah.
you can always hit up another jeweler, get it for free, which saves you money, right? And just to clear up, this wasn't Calvin trying to buy the piece or get the piece. It was one of his, you know,
He was the
peoples.
middleman.
Yeah, he was just trying to make it happen, which I appreciate, to be fair, because obviously I'm a small jeweler, right?
Yeah.
So even him showing me the attention and trying to make ends meet is a nice thing to do. But yeah, so I sort of said, yeah, I don't think this will work. Obviously, I want to build a relationship. You know, this is gonna be a one-sided thing. Like my brand name is not even gonna be brought up to Drake.
Yeah.
On top of that, it's like, yeah, sure, I can say, yeah, Drake's wearing my piece, but how can you tell he's wearing my piece if it's just a Cartier bracelet? I mean, a Cartier watch, like a generic watch. Like anyone could say that was his, right?
Yep.
So I said, yeah, I think I'll pass on this. Obviously, if you're looking to build a relationship and sort of build with me, then yeah, I'm always open for that, right? So
that takes balls, bro. I really respect it, man. A lot of people, if they hear Drake, they wouldn't even think about it.
Yeah.
You had the mentality of, no, let me break this down, bro. Because I think, you know what that goes back to, bro? You're not in it for fucking just clout. Like, clout is cool, 100%. But yo, if that's all you're after, you're gonna make some bad decisions, bro.
Because I could have easily jumped on it, but in my mind, I told them too. I'm pretty sure. I said, I believe, I'm confident. I could make a connection with Drake down the line. I'm confident.
There we go.
I'm not itching to get to know him or get to know anyone else. I'm confident as I grow, they'll see, and they'll appreciate what I'm doing, and that's what I told them. So, you know, hopefully they respected that too, right?
I love that, bro. And you know, even going back to earlier in the conversation where you said you're looking to attract a specific clientele, like, yo, those business guys are no joke, bro. Maybe that they don't have songs on the radio, but bro, they're fucking doing their shit well, too, bro. Yeah. Like, you don't just have to have rappers and athletes. Yeah. There's other people really hustling. 100%. And you have no idea who the fuck they are, 100%. But they might be a big customer, you know?
Imagine babe, imagine Babes is like, oh, baby, I want to go to the islands or something. I'm like, let me just make a quick call.
Wifey. Real shit.
Wifey, don't worry. I'm just going to make a quick call. I got the jet coming because my boy is the owner of the jet. He's giving us half off. We'll go. No problem.
Yes, sir. Business owners, man.
Yeah, that's what you want to be connected with.
That's real shit. I love that, bro. We're approaching an hour, man. I fucking really enjoyed this conversation. Went very quick. I have one more question. Sure. I'm just curious.
Tell me.
I see this a lot, and it's just an opinion question. Sure. I want to hear what you think. I see a lot of people. It often with engagement rings, but it could be for any type of diamond jewelry with the lab grown. Mm-hmm. You mentioned that already. For me, I'll sound like a hater. If I see like a big ass ring and I know it's not a real diamond, right, I can't be like, bro, like I can't hold that to us. How do you feel about that?
For me, obviously,
actually, sorry to interrupt. Last thing on it, if you're flexing it, I can't fuck with it. If it's just like that's what you have, cool, bro. But if you're flexing it, like it's
right.
Yeah,
I feel you. It's a mixed opinion. I would say, I have clients who are like all lab. And I have clients who are, they cancelled lab. No go. If they hear lab, they run away as far as they can. All natural. Because you know why? The diamonds that are natural have been sitting in the earth for billions of years, curating from a natural growth in the earth, high heat, high pressure, and it forms a diamond, right? And that's the beauty of a natural diamond. The lab diamond is simple business. There's a high supply, the price lowers.
Yeah.
When there's more of something, then the price goes a little lower because it's so accessible. The whole point of natural diamonds is it's not as accessible. I do quotation marks because technically they are, but the Biz, which is the diamond company, mm-hmm. they bought like I think 70 or 80% of all the mines around the world, and they're the one who control the flow of supply.
Monopoly.
So it's a monopoly, and they've limited how many diamonds come out.
Right.
Therefore, the price goes up, right? And on top of that, another factor that influences the price as a side mark is the political situation. For example, Russia, they produced a third of the diamonds worldwide. And then even in COVID, you know, just transportation and whatnot, it just increased the price.
Sure.
So a lot of people stay away from lab for that reason. Like I said, 50% price difference is a lot. Instead of going for 10 grand, you can get the same thing for 5 grand.
Right.
And usually for higher clarity, higher quality. Because if you're making something, let's say this water bottle costs you $10 to make, but you can make a Fiji water bottle for $10. Might as well make the better
you
version.
can control the quality.
So, exactly, lab diamonds tend to be high quality for that reason. So hence why people choose that. And I would say in this day and age as well, inflation, whatnot, cost of rent and living going up, a lot of people go to that for that reason, just because, the rule of thumb is you're supposed to spend a third of your salary.
Yeah.
So if you're making 100 grand, that's like 33 grand, 0.333.
Yeah.
Like that's a big amount, especially if you're making like 100 grand, 200 grand, even. I mean, any amount. Like even if you're making a million.
It's a lot of money.
Yeah, that's like 333,000, 330.
A lot of money, bro.
Yeah, it's a lot of money. So people are going to lab for that reason. And I would say, even personally, take this how you want because I'm a jeweler.
Yes.
So your opinions will be, understood. But going forward, I'm going to go lab.
Okay.
Because it's more price effective. 50% is a big chunk of money to save. You get the look you want. And on top of that, if you're someone who cares about the environment, it does do less environmental damage. There's less sort of, issues when it comes to that. So lab diamonds is definitely an amazing alternative. And it's the exact same component chemically.
Right.
So chemically, they're both composed of the exact same thing. So you can't tell as a jeweler which one is which. The only way you can tell is if you go to an appraiser who's GIA certified. He's done a couple years of university course to be able to identify it. Even he can't identify it with his own eyes. He gets the $10,000 machine, puts it in the machine will tell you. That's how identical they are. People always ask me, do lab diamonds pass the diamond test though, brother? As if that's the most generic question I always get.
Okay.
Because they always confuse it with Moissanite, which is a fake diamond, completely fake. But a lab diamond is as real as a natural diamond. People say, "Oh, do you have real diamonds?" I'm like, brother, lab and natural, they're both real. Different ways to make it. The best comparison is this ice, frozen ice. In wintertime, there's ice outside. It's frozen naturally. You can also go to your freezer, put water in an ice tray, and freeze it in the freezer. One you made yourself, it was man-made. One was made by Mother Nature. So that's kind of lab diamonds versus natural diamonds.
You broke that down very well, bro. That's why I asked you. I was sitting on that question. That's I love that water analogy.
100%.
And you know what? The business owning 80% changes things. Like, what the fuck are you supposed to do?
100%.
Like, just pay because they have it? Like,
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
That's real, bro. You opened my eyes there.
Yeah, I would say it's all on what you feel. If you have the budget and you're willing to spend the money, I would go natural too.
Yeah.
Let's say in 10 years and, God willing, I'm in a better situation. I have all the money to spend on an accessory. No problem. I'll go natural. But in the meantime, if you're looking to build and if you're looking to sort of save money, even if you have good amounts of money saved up, but you still have a goal to reach, I would still suggest lab.
Right.
I would only go for natural if you're in a comfortable position and you don't have to worry about anything and you've already achieved what you need to achieve. That's when I would say, okay, natural. But at the end of the day, it's all an opinion. This is no financial advice.
That's why I asked, bro. My opinion doesn't mean shit.
Yeah, it's no financial advice. And like I said, it's just an opinion.
Yeah,
so
bro.
Feel free to do natural at the end of the day.
If you know what, the best way I think to say it is, fuck, it's your money, bro. You spend it how you want to make.
100%.
That's real, man. 100%. So, yo, this was a fucking fire conversation.
Sick for that.
I want to give you an open floor, though. Is there anything you want to promote, talk about, next steps, like anything? Floor is yours, bro.
I would say main thing, couple things. Obviously, follow my Instagram, Diamond Touch Toronto.
Put that on the screen.
Yeah, thank you. Appreciate it. Follow us on TikTok too. We're active there. Let us know, me and my brother, what kind of content you guys want to see from us.
Fuck yeah, man.
I'd love to do some more.
I'm down.
And yeah, I would say last message would be the youth of today and anyone who's in the city, keep your heads up. Try and stay away from all the fuckery. And there's always a better path and a better way to choose.
Love that, bro. Wise words from the Diamond King, man. Diamond Touch CEO.
100%. Here.
Yo.
I'm going to show my hoodie.
Show off the hoodie. I need one of those too, bro.
This is a prototype. Look at the back.
That's Super
CEO.
fire. I'm gonna need one of those.
Yeah,
bro.
brother.
I need one of
100%.
those.
I'm gonna get you right.
Vigilante chain.
Come
If
on.
you guys catch me in a good mood, I think we might have to get that done at some point too.
100%.
Let's get it, bro. I really appreciate you, my guy.
Appreciate
Diamond
you.
Touch Toronto. What's the address one more time?
2900 Steeles Avenue East. Shops on 4th, one Steeles. You can Google that, it'll pop up.
Love it, man. Shout out Diamond Touch, Versatile Vigilante. Like, comment, subscribe. Let's get it.